So looks like we have a reefer in Atlanta, Georgia. I just wanted to show everybody what are the options out there. Today is Wednesday, July 9th. I wanted to show people how the market is doing. So here is my load board right now. Wednesday, July 9th. We have a reefer. I would like a load going from Atlanta, going to Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio, or Michigan. Why do I choose those states? Because I truly believe that I can get the best rates out of those states once I get there. So I'm in Atlanta. These are the options that I have over here. Now I would like to do a search of a minimum of 700-mile load. So I don't want to see anything that's under 700 miles. How do I set this? Is because I have a Load Connect Chrome extension over here, so that allows me to do that. So the minimum miles, the maximum miles, I can switch this to 800 or 900 miles, for example, and you can see all my loads will start filtering at the bottom. So if I do 900 miles, then all the loads that are minimum 900 miles are going to come out. So there's no loads like that. Maybe 800 miles there. So you can see that if I wanted minimum 800 miles, all these loads are minimum 800 miles, and these are my options. So I want to choose here. I'm actually going to do a search for, I want to give the driver at least 700 miles. He's getting offloaded today after lunch. I want to do a pickup after lunch, either delivery tomorrow, end of day. Most likely it's going to be the day after, which is Friday. That's where I want to be in Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio, or Michigan. Friday, I want to be there with a reefer. So let's look at what my options are. So here I am. There's a load from 166 miles away from me, from Greenwood, South Carolina, and it pays $2.30 per mile, rate per mile plus deadhead. You can see here on the left-hand side, this load pays $2,200. Now you can see here that the rate per mile is $2.88, but if I drove 166 miles, then my rate per mile would be only $2.37. So ideally, I want to find something a little bit closer to Atlanta. So here is a perfect one. Okay, Atlanta, Georgia to Cleveland, Ohio, it's 717 miles. Let's look at this. One loads in pits. Okay, so I guess it's 2 pickups and delivers on the 12th. Now the 12th is a Saturday, so I don't want that load because I don't want to deliver on a Saturday. So let's close that up. Let's look at the next one. We have Savannah, Georgia to Cleveland, Ohio, $1.97. North Carolina to Michigan, $2.12, $2.25. Let's see if we can find something a little bit higher for today. Here we go. Atlanta, Georgia to Detroit, Michigan. We have $2.35 per mile. So that might be a good load. Let's look at the comments. Perfect. There's a phone number there. Let's give this person a call.
Don Freight Source, how can I help you?
Morning, Ronan speaking. I see you're posting a load going from Atlanta, Georgia to Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, it's a Carrolton, Georgia pickup, man, if that works for you.
Carrolton, when is the pickup?
3 p.m. today. You need a strong driver, has to deliver at 7 a.m. tomorrow. And that's 710 loaded miles.
Carrolton, Georgia. Where? It's going to Detroit, right?
Going to Plymouth. It's Carrolton, Georgia to Plymouth, Michigan. Unfortunately, I have to post it to different cities for customer requests.
All right. Doesn't that mean you need a team on it? I mean, it's 3 p.m., right? It looks like it's a team.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it's a team or a strong soul could run it.
Strong solo?
Depending how you want to look at it. Yeah, depending.
For tomorrow, 7 a.m., strong solo?
Yeah. I've seen it happen, man. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just saying.
Maybe if the driver has 2 logbooks, I mean, this is a 11.5-hour drive plus an hour to load plus an hour to get there at least and an hour to offload. So I don't think he'll be able to do it in his in a full shift.
Okay, no worries,
Okay.
man.
Just that. Okay, tell me, how much did you say it's paying this load?
Let me see what it's posted for. It is posted for 17 right now, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the info.
No problem. Thank you.
So this one right here came out to, if this guy's paying $1,700 divided by 786 is $2.16 per mile. So the reason I did not take this load or I didn't entertain it is because I don't think that my driver has enough hours to make it there. So what they're looking for, the only person who can possibly make it is if the pickup today is at 3 p.m. is somebody with fresh hours that just started in Atlanta. So yes, you can make it to the pickup, and then if there's absolutely no delays, can the driver make it to Plymouth, Michigan to deliver it? But again, he's probably gonna run out of hours at the delivery, okay? So it depends also how long it's gonna take to pick up. So if the pickup is gonna be 2 hours, that's it, the driver's not making it. Now the driver also has to drive all night in order to make it there. So for $2.16 per mile, that's just not worth it. All right, what else do we got here? So you can see here, Savannah, Georgia to Cleveland, Ohio, $1.97 per mile. That's a little low. Macomb, Georgia to Cleveland, Ohio, that's the one I believe was with the secondary drop, correct. Now let's keep going. We have Montgomery, Alabama going to Detroit, Michigan. With my empty miles, that's 205. We'll start going into the expenses because you can see here, we got 214, 218, 205. These are reefer loads out of Atlanta, 231 maybe going to Detroit. That's the one that we just called. So let's say the average is about $2.15. Now listen up, because this is extremely important. Now we all know that the expenses right now are outrageous in order to run even a small fleet or even an owner operator. Fuel is going to run you at least 65 cents per mile. Where do I get this? I'll post up the chart, and it depends on your trucks. If you want to see my analytics for my fleet, okay, I'm probably more into the 45 cents per mile. So here is my fuel consumption for my fleet. So you can see here, my best performing truck, don't look at that, 11.6 miles per gallon, that's a fluke. Everybody else is real. So you can see here 9.2, 9.1, 8.9, 8.7, 8.8, it goes all the way. And if I go to page number 2, okay, we're still at 8.2 all the way to 7.6 miles per gallon, and then page number 3. So most of my trucks, I would say all my trucks, I would say is about 7.5 miles per gallon and above. Fuel consumption is very, very important. At the end of the day, it's your cost per mile. Now at 7.5 miles per gallon, if you look at the chart with the national average, you're probably at around 47 cents per mile. Now, when I consult other companies and I tell them that my fleet runs at 47 cents per mile, they are in shock, because most of the people are running at 6.5 miles per gallon, or 6.8 or 6.9, or some of them even run at 7, but an average to be above 7.5, unheard of yet. I've spent my whole life dedicated to try to find how to save money on cost per mile. So most people are going to be around, okay, the 60 to 65 cents per mile over here. Now you have your fuel is one expense, then we have your driver's pay. Now I don't know about you guys, we pay right now 70 cents per mile for our drivers in the US in our Georgia fleet. Then you have your insurance. Now insurance doesn't matter. I think we all have seen, whether you're just one, an owner operator that has one truck, or if you're a larger fleet, I feel like the rates are anywhere between $1,500 per month all the way to $2,500 per month. If you take $2,000 and you divide that by approximately 10,000 miles, which is the average over the course of the year, we are looking at 20 cents per mile for insurance. Now, more expenses. You have your truck, you have your trailer. So your truck is at least $3,000 per $3,000. That's 30 cents per mile. Now, your trailer is at least 10 cents per mile. Now, we also have maintenance, parking, ELDs. You have a million and one other expenses. Dispatchers, I mean, I don't know how you guys are running or if you're dispatching yourself, but trailers, you have your maintenance. Now, maintenance on trucks, I would probably say at least 15 cents per mile for oil changes, repairs, maintenance, from the time that truck is brand new all the way to about the 50-year mark. So you can see all the loads going from Georgia to Illinois, Georgia to Ohio. We have $2.15 to work with, okay? Now, if you take your fuel, your driver's pay, your insurance, your truck, your trailer, your maintenance, if you take your ELDs and your parking, I'm sure you guys have a parking. Parking is not cheap anywhere these days. We are looking at least another probably 5 cents. Now we're talking about factoring fee, and you also have your dispatch fee. Dispatch is about 6%. 6% of $2, we're talking about 12 cents. Factoring is probably about 3 cents. All right, let's start looking at the expenses. So 0.03, we'll start from the bottom up. That's for your factoring fee. Then you have your dispatch fee plus 0.12, plus we have ELDs. ELDs and parking, I would say it's probably 5 cents. Now it's $250 a month, plus ELDs is $50 a month. We're not gonna take this expense into account. Maintenance, we're gonna take that into account for sure. That's 15 cents. Then you have your trailer, that's 0.10 equals, so far we're at 40 cents. Then you have your truck, which is plus 0.30. Then you have your insurance, which is plus 0.2. Then you have your driver's pay, which is 0.7. Then you have your fuel, which is 0.65, okay? Now, this right here is $2.25 per mile. Whoever's doing this load is running at a loss right now. How much is the loss? About 10 cents. Now, there's a lot more expenses into running a trucking company. If you want to go into the nitty gritty, if you're enjoying this stuff and you want to really tweak and go into it, I do have a course on the cost of running a mile, and I do have a course on the dispatch course, and both of them will go into great detail about this. $2.15, $2.25, we're running at a loss. Now, how do you run at a profit? So you start playing around with these numbers a little bit more. So you need to get your fuel down to 0.60 cents. So you got to start looking at fuel consumption. Driver's pay, I mean, you can see if you can get away with getting a driver at 65 cents. Good luck with the quality of drivers. But your insurance, you're not doing anything about your insurance. That's a rate that is not going away. Your truck, your trailer, I mean, yeah, you can have your truck. I mean, if you put a bigger down payment, you might have less than 30 cents, but that usually doesn't move on newer trucks. If you're driving an older truck, or if you bought out your truck cash, okay, then you don't have this expense. all right? And if you have a trailer that you bought out cash, well, now you're running at 40 cents per mile less, which means your cost of running a mile is 40 cents per mile less than this, which will give you $1.85. Now, if your cost per mile is $1.85 and you're doing loads at $2.15 per mile, you are running at a profit, okay? There's other ways that you can tweak this, that you can really zoom in on your cost of running a mile, but this stuff is extremely important. Your maintenance is not going away. ELDs, you have to have ELDs. Your factoring fee and your dispatch fee, well, if you started dispatching yourself, and if you took my course on dispatching, then guess what? You wouldn't be paying this fee right there. So a person who's dispatching himself and does not use a factoring company, well, now you just took away 12 cents and you took away 3 cents, which will give you another 15 cents in your pocket, which means your cost of running a mile is 15 cents less, which will give it, instead of $2.25, you got $2.10. Well, now you're making 5 cents. Congratulations. You start knocking off these numbers, which I teach in detail how to knock off these numbers. Then you can start running at a profit even with today's rates. Now, let's not forget that loads going from Illinois, okay? A reefer load going from Illinois going into Georgia will probably pay you at least $2.50 per mile, sometimes even $2.80 per mile. So if you do the round trip rate, you will be profitable. You just need to zero in on these numbers over here, and then you can start being profitable, all right? Just for a quick demonstration, I'm just gonna do the reverse lookup. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the load board, I'm gonna go into Chicago, Illinois, and I'm going to look for loads going into Georgia. I'm gonna look at Ohio, I'm gonna look at Michigan, and I'm gonna look at Wisconsin. I'm looking just for loads going to Georgia, all right, and let's see what it comes up with. All right, so the rates are even a little bit better than what I thought, okay? So Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, going into Georgia, we are looking for a load that has 700 miles or more. Now I could put here only loads that have 800 miles or more. Let's see what that comes up with. Perfect. Okay, great. So the rates, you can see here, Bedford Park, Illinois, going to Alma, Georgia, $2.94 per mile, $2.94, $2.70, $2.67. So these are all the loads going south, okay? So if the average is $2.80 per mile, so if you're doing an outbound load at $2.80 per mile, and then you're doing an inbound load, okay, at $2.15 per mile, 280 plus 215 divided by 2. Now you're at $2.47 round trip. Now, if you are running your fleet at $2.15, or if you're running your fleet at $2.10, or even if you're running it at the original price that we came up with, which is $2.25, then guess what? Now you're running at a 22-cent profit. Now, 22-cent profit, multiply that, if you can do that the entire month on 10,000 miles, then you got 22,000 times 10. We're talking about $4,400 profit from one truck. But the name of the game is how do you decrease these numbers, and we go into that in detail in our dispatch course, and also in detail on our cost of running a mile. So hopefully you enjoyed this demonstration. I'm sure if I made a mistake, you guys will blast me in the comments, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know how the rates are. We can do the exact same exercise with the flatbed division. We can do the exact same exercise with the van division. The only thing that I need is for you guys to make comments and to make sure you share it. Once I see that a video has over X amount of views, then I understand that the audience is interested in this content, and I'll create more of it. I'm Ronan, and I'll catch you in my next video.